Hello everyone, today I am recording a video on the ITTO for closing a project or a phase. Before we get into the input tools and techniques and the output, let me ask you this question. What are the important tasks you would like to do at the end of project? Think of these things because this will help you in figuring out the ITTOs and remembering them. The first and the foremost important thing that you do at the end of the project is deliver the final product. So how this is delivered, so there has to be some input for that. We'll talk about it. And then as a PM you will have to do a lot of documentation updates. There are a lot of documents that have been used throughout the project. You'll have to update them. And then you'll have to go and present a final summary of the project, and present it to the sponsor and sometimes even the client. And then you'll have to think about what happens to your team, right? So team gets released. If it's a projectized organization, release the team, right? Can you repurpose some resources? Can you use some extra materials left from this project? Okay, these things. And then you will also document the lessons learned. The most important thing, lessons learned. And then you will also have some audits. Some sponsor want to audit a project and see how it went. Did it go great, or what was the output of the project? Some audits will happen. You'll do a lot of measurements over here. So the customer satisfaction score will be measured, right? So let's say measurements. And then after that, the very important thing for the organizations, on the agreement side, you would request a formal sign off from the customer. So these are the important tasks you will have to accomplish by the end of this project or the end of this process, right? So let's get into the tools and techniques now. Let's ask some questions to ourselves so that it becomes easier for us to remember the tools and techniques. So the first and foremost thing, right? So for the inputs, how did we start the project? Now we've come to the end of the project, so ask this question to yourself: how did we start the project? Those things will be referred over here. You will refer things that you started the project is. You'll refer and check them whether are we meeting those criteria or not. So the first and the foremost thing is you look into the project charter. So project charter has got the exit criteria, has got what has to be done, achieve the project high level. And then you'll check the business documents, the benefits management plan or the business case. You look into the project management plan for a detailed scope. You look into the agreements, how are you going to deal with the client or the procurement people on the agreements. And you also look into procurement documentation on how did you index and file those records and what was needed for the procurement. So these things that we started off with the project initially, okay, most of these inputs are inputs to your initial project charter also. So these will be referred over here, right? So this becomes an input to the close project or phase. The next question you need to ask, so what was built or developed in the project? That is the interim deliverable or the accepted deliverable. So if the customer has signed off on the UAT saying yes, it is looking good, we are going to take that. So then the next question you need to ask yourself is, what did you update in the entire project? So lot of documents, right? So you have updated a lot of project documents throughout the project. Okay, now ask this question to yourself: does anyone need to review these documents internally? Yes, the sponsor does want to review them because he wants to see the summary and he wants to know how good were you do on these projects. So he wants to know about the quality control measures, the quality reports. Okay, so if you have got some CPIs, KPIs, would like to do that. The quality reports to talk about the defects and all those things, how many things pending. He would like to know how did you manage the risk, the source of risk, whether any new sources of risk, so that he could be ready for some future projects and try to avoid those. And then risk reports, change log, how many change requests went in. So you have to prepare all this and talk to your sponsor. Probably you can do a meeting. We'll talk about that in the tools and techniques later on. And then change logs and the basis of estimates for scope, time, cost. All this will be reviewed. Did we be on time? Were there any variances? Right? And then the lessons learned registered. And then you've got the milestone list. Did you meet the milestones on the project? Okay, so as a project manager, what does the project manager want to refer before closing the project? Along with those upper documents is prepared, he would like to refer the accepted deliverables. How many have been accepted? How many can get closed in this phase? Okay, or in this entire project. Then assumption log that was prepared initially, issue logs, are there any open issues, or and finally the requirement documentation that has got the specific requirements for this project. So you all these things, right? So all these things will become your inputs. So all of these are your inputs to do to start closing the project. Now, what will you do with these inputs? How are these inputs analyzed? Is your tools and techniques. This talks more of the how to, right? So tools and techniques. Let's talk about this now. You have got expert judgment. You have got experts from management who would come and say, okay, this has to be. So your sponsor is looking into how the project was done. There will be some audit, some legal experts coming, regulative experts. So all the subject matter experts come and they say, okay, fine, all this looks good, yeah, we're ready to go inside of the project. Another tool and technique you need to do is, because a lot of documents are there, a lot of data analysis has to be done, right? So you do a lot of document analysis for the lessons learned, knowledge sharing, OPAs, and then regression analysis. Regression analysis, like what was the impact of one variable in the project, variable impact on other variables. Like for example, let's say if there was an impact on the scope, if they changed, what was the impact on the cost or the time, right, or the quality, this thing. Then the trend analysis, you will go and look in trend analysis, your estimate at completions, right, which you use to project. And then the variance analysis, your schedule variance, cost variance, all these will be used. And then you'll have the meetings. So you have meetings, you meet people, you go for sign-offs, you talk to your manager, you talk to your team, you talk to the client. All of this happens through meetings. So these are the tools and techniques that you'll use to close the project. And what is the output, right? After doing so much effort, what is the output? So the output that you're going to get is the updates to project documents, right? The project document updates, you'll talk about the lessons learned, and then the final product and the final report, right? So the final report will talk to you about all this, right? So final report will come and talk to you about all these things. That is, it will have the summary of cost, schedule, scope, quality, sign off, risk. So it could go to your project manager, it will go to your sponsor, it will go to the client also, right? And then the OP updates on the project documents, on the lessons learned, operational and support document in case of going to next phase, and then project or phase closure. So these were the ITTO from PMBOK 6th edition for closing a project or a phase. Okay, I would request you to watch this video a couple of times. Let me just put on the heading over here so that's legible. So close project or phase, ITTO. Okay, this is the only process in the closing process group. Is very important. You get close to 14 questions on this. I have prepared another video with a mind map on this process. Please do watch that video also. It will give you a good understanding. Watch this video a couple of times. Do leave me a comment if you like the video, if you want to see some other videos. I wish you all the best for your PMP examination. Happy managing projects and preparing for the PMP examination. All the best. This is Faraaz from Bangalore.